Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Little Mix. I am your host, Sam, and I am here today with Kamar. It has been a while, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to be back recording, back doing, same old, but obviously better. I want to give y'all a little bit of an update. Um, for me, summer has ended. It's time to go back to school. It has been hectic getting into school, shots, doctor visits, all type of craziness. And honestly, I work from home. Like my main job is from home, and I've definitely been enjoying me being inside of the house and not having to go out all the time. And me just like doing everything these past couple weeks has been like, damn, it's hot outside. Like, why is it so hot? I don't understand. I don't get it. It's so humid and I can't take it. As soon as I get out, like leave the house, I'm like already like I can't. I can't take it. But yeah. What's been up with you? Come
Yeah, man, it's been really hot. I can definitely say I I am with you on the working from home part, right? It's almost like futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it definitely comes with its perks, right? You know, you're not spending so much on gas money anymore. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, gas is a thing that used to be a thing and it's no longer a thing because I also work from home just in case the audience isn't aware. But yeah, everything is doing good. Older daughter, she's getting ready for college. It's been a different year. It's been uh,
Mm-hmm.
end of high school year. It's been a beginning of college year. It's been a get my first car year, get my driver's license year.
Yeah.
A lot of eventful stuff. Business is still booming, as you guys know. Miles of Memory Events is still very well and established and vibrant. So we've been getting events here and there. We just did a prom. We did a couple baby showers. Exciting stuff. Miles Tech Services is also booming as well. Getting different clients to work on whatever technology they need assistance with. So I have to say it's been a very eventful and hot year.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for sure you guys are gonna be doing an event for us soon in a couple months. So I'm excited for that. Um, I'm excited for
Stuff.
the birthday and everything that is gonna bring. I know it's gonna be gorgeous because I've seen like a lot of the work and it's just very well put together. I love it.
All
Um,
about the memories. Miles
but
of
yeah, I
Memories
love it. She
events.
does an amazing job. Like honestly, it's all the little touches for me. It's all the little like, you know, things like I would say no one would really think of. And it's like, damn, like that makes it even more better, you know? That makes it even more like, yeah, I gotta have her like planning and decorating and stuff like that. So
And
yeah,
we're gonna go all out, right? I gotta go out for my niece and my nephew. So yeah,
yeah,
we're it's gonna be phenomenal.
yeah. I can't wait. But man, oh, speaking of gas, you said um the gas like it's not a thing. It used to be a thing. Let me tell you. Okay, so I recently got a new car, right? And mind you, beginning of summer, this summer has been a good summer. Like, you know how people be like hot girl, hot boy summer and all that. And I've
Right.
definitely been having a great summer. It started off with me getting a brand new car and I'm not even gonna lie, love it. I don't think I've ever had like a brand new car. Like I've had new cars. Like you wanna say like maybe 2 years old. Like I think in what was that, 2018? I think it was, yeah, 2018 or 2019. We had got the 2017 car. So
Pretty brand new.
it is pretty brand new, but I've never had a same year car before. So that
Right.
to me
Yeah.
is like, yeah, like I'm doing pretty decent. Like I like
That's
that.
the
But
blessing.
yeah, the car though, it's the car for me. It's definitely the car for me. It's the fact that I literally only have to put $25 of gas and it's full. I don't think I've ever had that. I don't think I've ever had that. The car that I just got out of, $60 on a good day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
to full. And the fact that I'm going from 60 to 25, like that, it's just like, and
banking,
again, I don't really, leave the house. Like I'm always home. So
right.
that, I love it. I love
So I
just like
should be
mm-hmm.
tank stay on F, right?
Yeah. I love that. I just love, honestly, I love everything about it. I love it. At
Gone are
first,
the days we used to only have a quarter tank left.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was almost like kind of considering doing a hybrid because everyone was talking about gas. Like, oh, gas is so expensive. Maybe you should get a car that you can charge, and sometime whenever you
Hmm.
feel like putting gas in it, you can do that. But eh, I don't know. This one has like three different modes, so you could do like smart, that preserves the gas, and then the regular, and then you can do or the normal drive mode, and then it does the sport. So honestly, I like it. I like it. I do.
They
But
say in Jamaica, step up in our life.
yeah. Yeah.
Step up in our life.
Yeah. But man, listen, so I kind of want to pose the questions. Like a lot of people that I know, like they're having a pretty tough time. Like, yeah, you have your hot girl summer and your hot boy summer and all that, but people have been having like a horrible time dating, or they're finding like these horrible experiences in dating. And you know what I don't really like? I don't like the fact when people are always saying, oh, it's the dating pool is trash, or the people that I'm dating is like all of this is trash. And to me, I'm like, you have to be very aware of how you speak, because what you're speaking it into existence. I'm a firm believer in that. So if you constantly say the dating pool is trash, I just can't find someone that matches me. Like I'm never gonna find anyone. That's gonna happen. Like it's gonna continue to remain trash because your mindset is thinking there's no one good out here. I'm gonna remain single. Like it's never gonna happen for me. Like I really feel like the more you see things, the more you believe it, the more it becomes a part of your life. And I think that people, really need to start honing in on that and realizing it's all about perspective. It's all about the way you go about things. If you go on a date and you say, this is going to be the best date that I've ever been on, more than likely it's going to be the best date you ever been on, because you're already in that mindset. You already have that perspective that you want it to go well.
Real talk.
So I definitely think that we should kind of like change the way we, I don't want to say go about dating, but definitely how we see it, how we perceive dating. um but that's just, again, that's just me. That's how I see it.
Ah, real talk. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And manifest in your reality, you know?
Yeah.
I totally agree that speaking things, you're pushing out vibrations
Mhm.
that has effects, right? And you can get deep in that topic.
Yeah.
But you know, like I was listening to something the other day that kind of brings to mind. Real quickly, I was listening to something the other day. Um, and it says that, you know, when words make a sentence, right?
Mhm.
And when the word spell, right, as in spelling a word, comes
Mhm.
from like I don't remember what the Latin word was, but it really sort of means like to cast a spell or something like that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Don't quote me, right? But something like that. And it's like so when you speak something, it's like you're casting a spell,
for sure.
right? All these English words, they come from various different backgrounds. They mean
Yeah,
things. When you say things, you really are speaking things into existence. I believe that actually.
mhm,
So,
for sure.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And I also want to just let people know, like, for if you know, dating is not the same as being in the relationship. You saying that you're dating and you've been in a relationship is not the same thing. Don't be like, oh yeah, I'm dating this guy and you're just presuming that y'all together. Because that doesn't mean y'all together. Like you thinking y'all together and then this man saying I'm single or I'm not in a relationship, those are two totally different things. Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, it comes from perspective, right? Because like, I guess for some people use the words interchangeably, right? So
Yeah.
that's where kind of communication kind of comes in, right? Because one of the things I had to learn when I was younger and becoming a young man was that I don't the way I think, even though to me it may be 1 plus 1 equals 2, for some people 1 plus 1 equals 3.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? How is 1 plus 1 equal 3? And then when you think about it, right, in terms of like human beings, right? One guy plus
Mhm.
a girl equals
Equals
3,
three.
right?
Yeah. This is
So it's
true.
kind of crazy,
That's
so
true.
you can never expect, even if you know something as a fact for you, you can never expect someone else to think of it the same. And even if they do think of it different and you don't get it, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you just don't get how 1 plus 1 equals 3.
Mhm.
Just give them the respect of saying, okay, I respect your opinion, but communication is key, right? So that's kind of where that comes in.
Yeah. I guess in that sense, I would say that when you are talking or in the talking stage and getting to know someone, which I feel like which is the same as dating, I feel like um definitely you have to know or you have to define the term dating
Right,
and
right,
define the term relationship. And then you have to, whoever you're talking to at that time or whoever you're interested in at that time, you definitely have to be on that same wavelength. Or y'all should be, trying to figure out what it means to one another. Because for
right.
me, my perspective, I think dating is we're going on dates. We're talking, we're,
Mm,
texting, we're seeing one another and going out. You're taking me out, and sometimes I'll take you out. Um we may go get something to eat. We may, go on a nice trip or something. Like that to me is dating. That doesn't mean we're in a relationship. Um that what I feel is dating. And I'm getting to
So,
know.
so what's a
Mhm.
relationship to you
To
in
me, a
comparison to that?
relationship is when it becomes a, and I have other points, but when you're in a relationship, that goes to, okay, we're not entertaining anyone else. This is when it becomes exclusive. We're exclusively dating,
Mm,
which in terms to me is also a relationship because, or not also a relationship, but it kind of equates to a relationship in a sense. It could mean that you still have people in your back pocket. It could mean, we're exclusively dating and we're just dating each other and that's it. But to me, a relationship is we're dating each other, we're together, we've decided that at this time, I don't want to date anyone else. At this time, I don't want to give anyone else the time of day. At this time, I don't want to text other people
mm.
or call other people or take anyone else out on a date. I don't want to be around someone who the person I'm in a relationship with may feel uncomfortable with me talking to. That is a relationship. When you're dating, I feel you can speak to whoever you want. You can talk to whoever you want. If you decided to take someone else out on a date, you could do that because you're dating. But I also feel you should be very clear and concise with the person you are dating when it comes to that. Because again,
Mhm.
everyone don't have the same definition of dating. Some people's
Right,
definition is we're in a relationship, we're together,
right.
especially if there are more things involved when it comes to the dating. So for sure, I just feel like you need to be on the same wavelength when it comes to that. You have to know the person you're dating. You have to know their mindset. You have to know what they're looking for. Are you looking to settle down and be in a relationship right now? Are you looking to just date around and see who's the best fit for you? And honestly, I think that's how it should be. I think most of us, or most people, and I say us because I've done it in the past, um, I think most of us, we find a person that we like and we date them and we don't date other people. We don't date around. We literally date that one person and cling to that one person. And then eventually it becomes a relationship because 9 times out of 10, you'll start talking to a guy and you say you're dating, but that guy will not say you're in a relationship until maybe 7, 8 months in, or even a year sometimes. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, but we weren't in a relationship. Yeah, I talked to her, but we weren't in a relationship. Like most men don't see the point of you guys just talking as, yeah, we're in a relationship. And that's why I think a lot of women nowadays are also posing the question of, well, you haven't asked me to be your girlfriend.
Mhm.
You haven't asked
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
guys don't like labels.
I know that. And that's why I'm like, whoever you're dealing with, you need to be aligned and bring up that topic. Where do you feel are
Yeah.
some red flags when it comes to dating?
For me,
Yeah, do you feel
uh,
like no labels is a red flag?
actually, no. I feel like, okay, so look at it like this, right?
Mhm.
A lot of times when you're dating, I call it the butterfly phase, right?
Really?
Yeah, because like it's all butterflies in your stomach type of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like during that time, I feel like labels complicate stuff. You see, this is the thing with me. I'm kind of, and this might be very controversial to some people, but I'm anti-label. You know, I and I say that to say I'm not saying I don't see the importance of having um a word or a phrase that you call something by, right? In general. But
Mhm.
what I say about anti-label is like I don't think there's always a word or a phrase to describe something. You know,
Mhm.
it's sort of like in some languages, right? Uh a chair, right? Like I think, for example, in Spanish, right? There's not that much words for chairs, right? Like
Mhm.
I think la mesa is the word. I might be wrong. My Spanish might be
Mhm.
terrible, but there's not that much word for chairs. But in English, you have stool, you have chairs, you have couch, you have
Mhm.
all
So,
these things, right?
yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's like in this world, um, there's like endless possibilities, endless things, and to put a label on something, I feel like you're kind of putting a cage around it. You're kind of saying, we're going to take this word from the world and we're going to make what we have this,
Mhm.
right? And it kind of puts a barrier around things and it kind of puts expectations based on what the world described that word as. So I say that to come back to the point saying, I think when you're in the butterfly phase, like when I was dating, it was all about making it flow, right? I didn't want to put a label on it, at least not early, right? I just wanted to sort of live in the moment, right?
Mhm.
And just not try too hard, but not not try at all, right? Just like a balance, right? Um, so I don't think necessarily labels are a red flag. I think it's a red flag if you just met the person and they're trying to. When I say just met, I mean like I don't know, maybe what go out twice, right? And they're trying to say we're girlfriend and boyfriend or something, whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
right? Which, by the way, going back to something you said earlier, some people consider any relationship outside of marriage dated. No, that's controversial.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second, right? Some people consider any relationship, so even if you come to me and say, hey, we're in a relationship, some people consider that as still dating. It
Yeah.
means you have not made a commitment before God to me yet, which means I am not confined by you,
Yeah.
right? So, it goes back to what you were saying. You kind of have to really, you know,
I,
you have to
I
be
I see
careful.
that. I see that. And I'm gonna also say when you say that with not wanting to put a label on something because and this is what I heard you say. I heard you say, um, and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Hmm.
when you're at a certain point, you don't really want to put a label on something because then it can confine it. It can make it feel like it's, I guess, something more than what it is. Um,
Right.
right.
Exactly.
And I feel
Exactly.
whoever perspective that's coming from, whether male or female, or whatever you identify as, I feel when you feel that way, the question I would pose is that a commitment thing? And then just like you said, anything outside of marriage, you're not committed. So then do you have a fair commitment and you're not ready for marriage, so you're then not ready for a relationship. So you're just, trying to go with the flow to see what happens and things of that nature. Um, I want to say I've never been a huge person on titles. I don't think I've ever done it. I've had men do it to me, like after getting to know me and things of
Hmm.
that nature, and like, yeah, you're mine. Like I've had men do that to me, but I don't think I've ever been the type of person to say, like, yeah, now you're my boyfriend. Like, no, I've never done that. But
Right.
I do think that it's okay for people when they're dating and they're in a situation and they don't know where it's going, whether it's a situationship or not. I think it's okay to ask the question, "Hey, what are we doing? What are we?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Typically, girls ask that question, right? Or sorry,
yeah,
women ask that
yeah,
question. Like I've
yeah.
been asked that so many times, right? And that's controversial, man, because it's like I said, like you said something earlier saying, it can be seen as based on how you answer that question as if you're running from commitment. But
Hmm.
I mean, even if that's the case, right? Can you really blame some people? Commitment is not something to be taken lightly, right? Commitment can be a life or death thing. Would you rather me truly commit to you and be confident that I am committing to you, or just commit to you because you want me to commit to you and don't have no weight behind it, which essentially means that I'm not
Yeah,
really committed to you,
I
right?
get it.
So when
And
some
possibly
people
cheat.
are,
Yeah.
go ahead, sorry.
No, no, no. And I was just ending that and will possibly cheat if you're not fully committed.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So so yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the realest things a guy could do and the most honest thing a guy could do rather than just giving you the easy way out and say, "Yeah, I'm ready, right? I'm
Hmm.
committed to you. Let's date," right? Because that's what some guys do
But
and
let's
just
be
tell
honest. You know why guys do that? Because the female is posing the question, and then the
right.
guy answer is, "Well, damn, if I say no, is she not gonna give me what I'm really here for?"
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah.
I'm just telling you what you want to hear. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So it's like when you meet a guy and you try to say, "Hey, what we're doing," if he gives you like right away what you want to hear, like, yeah, we're committed. You're my girlfriend, whatever. Like, and maybe you should be worried if that's the answer, right? And maybe you should find comfort in him saying, um, "I'm not sure yet," right? Because at least
Hmm.
you know there that he's being honest.
Yeah,
You get what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? Like
I
he's
no, no,
not
no.
trying
I
to
completely
tell
get
you
that.
or lead you on.
To give you something that he thinks you want to hear, and I get that. And
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
I can see that as being a green flag. I'm not gonna lie. some things that I see as being a red flag is not communicating. Um, that's really my biggest thing. And I am gonna say this to everyone, not just women, but and not just to men, but everyone. If you find yourself in a predicament where you find someone that you're attracted to, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, on all levels, right? If you find that person, I feel you should let them know what it is you're wanting. And I think you should kind of over let them know what it is that you're wanting. So kind of like if you're just looking for a committed relationship, I think you
Hmm.
should tell them that you're looking for marriage. And even if it's not right now, you
Hmm.
should let them know what it is I'm coming in. These are the
Hmm.
things that I want. And if you guys are not on the same page, then you should move on because some people find a person that they're attracted to only physically and they're
Hmm.
like, I want to hold on to this person. You don't have to do that because then you're setting
Hmm.
yourself up. And that's why I personally feel like you should date multiple people. And let's not confuse dating and having sex with multiple people. I don't think you should have sex with multiple people, but I do think you should date multiple people until you see who fits you, until you see who aligns with you. Once you find out who aligns with you, then yeah, let's move forward. And, you know, at some point, I'm not going to bring it up right away whether or not we're in a relationship, and I'm not going to nag about it either. But I do think when it comes to having a green flag, y'all need to be on the same page. Y'all need to know how to communicate. If communication is not a core or a key in or a foundation in the talking stage, how are you guys gonna get to the point of a relationship?
I'll tell
And
you
then,
what.
mhm.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. You can finish your train of thought. I don't want
No, it's okay. But I think a lot of people skip over it's, oh, we're dating, we're going out, we're having fun, and we're gonna start fucking. And then once y'all start fucking, it's
to.
I'm ready to be in a relationship because I'm so in love with you. Like,
Yeah.
what? You
Yeah. I
being a red
mean.
flag to yourself. Like, what?
Yeah. 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 I mean, when it comes to communication, a lot of people a lot of people think communication is the easy thing. I gotta tell you, including myself too, I thought communication just meant me expressing myself to you, right?
Mhm.
But it's way more than that. Oh my gosh, man. Communication, you almost have to take a class for it. Sure, you probably have to go to college for it. Like, it is
Yeah.
not easy to communicate with people. Um, and the reason why I say that is because, yeah, we can communicate in terms of I can talk to you, you say something and I say something, and we both speak the same language, right?
Hmm.
But it's when it comes to like a relationship, it's deeper than that. Like, it actually, I call it knowing how to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
Effective communication.
Like
I had to
comprehending.
learn,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, comprehending to the understanding to the core, right? Like,
Hmm.
I had to learn how to effectively communicate with the person I'm with.
For
Like,
sure.
because when I say something, you have to understand that person had an entirely different experience of life,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And you may think you said something and anybody else would think this because you said that. But to somebody else, it may mean something completely different, right?
Hmm.
So to me, it's not just communicating, it's communicating to understand, right? Communicating to see through your eyes, to put myself in your footstep, right? And that's not easy in the beginning of a relationship because you're
Yeah.
still learning that person,
And
right?
that's go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
But that's why I also say when you're dating and you're dating around, you want to find a
Yeah,
person that you're aligned with. To
right.
where when you are communicating, you're communicating effectively, you're communicating and you're comprehending one another. It's not just
Yeah.
we're talking and yeah, we talk fine. Because you can communicate about going to go to lunch or going to go to dinner and y'all
Mhm.
are, communicating well. But what about the deeper things? And that's why I said
Right.
aligning on all levels. like making sure this person fits you, not just, the surface. These are the delicate things, the more important things. And
Right.
and I completely agree with you. 1000% I do.
But I feel like it's hard to have those like deep communication slash understanding in the
When you're
dating phase.
dating. Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I get it. It just depends on the person. And this is exactly
Yeah.
why I said date multiple, because you may have that one that you connect
Yeah,
with
you're
on the
right. You're
dating
right.
phase.
You're right.
And you may
That
have,
gets you.
yeah, the three that's like,
Yeah.
what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? All day. Like literally, that's the only thing they're texting. What you doing? What you doing?
Yeah.
What you doing?
What you
I don't want to
doing?
hear that shit.
Where you at?
I don't want to hear that. What you thinking about?
Yeah.
I'm on your mind? Oh, you in the shower? Why you ain't invite me? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
get out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
here with that. Like, no. And this is
Yeah.
why I say date multiple people. You may find someone attractive on the outside, and I had to learn that. Oh my God, I learned the hard way. But you may find someone attractive on the outside, but that does not mean they're attractive on the inside. That
Yeah.
does not mean you guys align. That does not mean what you see, what you think that is glitter is gold. That does not mean that. Just because you feel like I am, oh wow, I'm so, and I think that's also where human nature comes in and or involves itself, because just like how like our animals are, they
Mm-hmm.
mate. I feel like with human nature, we see someone we're attracted, and all of a sudden our endorphins and you know
Yeah.
things happen, and we're attracted to them, and our chemicals in our brain, we're wanting to mate with this person. Obviously, we're not going to say that, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's human nature. Like, oh yeah, I want to, and a lot of girls will say this. I want to fuck him. Like, oh, I want to, that's how
Yeah.
some girls talk. But would you fuck him if you knew that he didn't know how to effectively communicate with you?
Right. I gotta tell you this, right? I mean, like the physical attraction is a part of it, right? Because I tell you what, um, for women versus men, I feel like a, a woman can yes, you have to be physically attractive, but I feel like she can develop deeper feelings for you without being intimate. You get what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure.
Whereas a guy, it kind of takes a few times of intimate, a few, like, it takes a couple intimacy, like, not, and I'm not saying nothing is all or nothing is every, right? But what I'm saying
Hmm.
is based on my experiences in life with myself and just others and everything that I've seen and known from relationships, guys, guys are more physical. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So,
Hmm.
so, so there's nothing really wrong with the animal instinct part. What really matters is you don't make it just about that. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it can't be like you cannot be that shallow and that's it. That's all you have to offer. You get what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure. Well,
So it's like, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, no, it's okay.
Yeah, so I mean, so at the end of the day, um, from a male perspective, it starts with, and also from a female perspective as well, it starts with that, oh man, that person is handsome or that person is sexy, right? And something draws you to that person, right? You build an interaction and you start with the flirt and then you start with this and then, you know, um, when if or when you guys do whatever you do, you kind of find out um it's sort of like jumping over the first fence, right? Because I think
Mhm.
that it's still essential to know if you guys are sexually compatible, like 100%, right?
Yeah.
Of course they have to pass certain criteria for that, but I want to kind of go back on one thing you said
Mhm.
earlier, right? When it comes to like when you're in that phase that I just described, you
Mhm.
have to be careful to say, hey, especially when you're looking for your soulmate, you have to be careful in stating your intentions and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a husband or I'm looking for a wife." Like that may scare some people away.
This is true, but I
Because
also,
sometimes people don't want to think about that in the
yeah,
very beginning. You get what I'm saying?
but I also think that when is your person. And if that weeds out the people that don't need to be in your life and it weeds out the people who aren't your soulmate, I'm all for that. Like, and I'm not saying like what one thing I don't agree with, because you brought that up and it made a point. It's in my head now. But one thing I don't agree with now, I used to do it, but I don't anymore. I don't agree with woman telling a man what it is she's like everything she's looking for in a man. I do not agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
Exactly.
not give him a blueprint of how you want him to be
Exactly.
because he is going to pretend to be that person until he gets exactly
Exactly.
what he wants. Do not tell him exactly what you're looking for in a man.
Right.
You can say, I'm ready to get married, and he can say, oh yeah, I'm ready to get married too. Like this is what I want. I've been looking for this. And you think, that's your
Yeah.
soulmate or your person. But guess what?
Yeah.
He's
You just
eventually
want
gonna
that
show.
coochie.
He's eventually gonna show that
Yeah.
that is not what he's looking for. And you'll see through action. But if you tell a man exactly how to be, come on.
I mean, and man, that's the next thing too, right? Because like right now, there's a lot of I've been noticing that there's a lot of women up in age. When I say up in age, I don't mean old, right? But like grown women, like in
Hmm.
their 30s or whatever, and they're like, oh man, like I can't find a guy, I can't find this, I can't find that, right? But and so when they do find that person, they have a set of expectations, which is fine, right? You can have expectations, right? But they're so to your point, like focused on this ideology that what they're looking for, right? To where so much that they might just skip past real opportunities, right? So it's really like they're doing themselves a harm by having, like having like this specific type of guy. And I have to tell you, from a guy's perspective, there is no win to trying to to be who a woman wants you to be if you're not already that person.
Hmm.
Like it is a lose lose situation for us guys because like you said, um, if we do pretend to be that person, we have bad intentions, right? But let's say we genuinely want to try to be that person. You know what's going to happen? He's going to realize that, man, I'm going out of my way to do all of this only for
Hmm.
you still not to appreciate me. You cannot, as from a guy's perspective, there is no pleasing a woman. You've heard about the men's store, right?
What
You
is
heard
it?
about the men. There's the concept about the men's store, right?
Oh
Joyce
yeah.
Myers. You,
Yeah.
you heard about that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Where there's different floors, right? So,
Hmm.
a girl goes shopping, she goes to the men's store and she wants a man, right? And she goes to the first floor and she sees a man who, maybe he's just out of jail, he don't really have a job, but he sounds ambitious, right? And then she's like,
Hmm.
nah, you ain't what I want in a guy. She goes up to the second floor, right? The second floor, she has a guy who's never been to jail. He works maybe a 9 to 5 job, not making much money, but essentially he's a good man, but he's not enough for her, right? So she
Yeah.
goes to the third floor, right? She finds a guy who maybe makes um 5 6 figures, but maybe he doesn't dress how she wants to, and she doesn't, you know, he doesn't do the things she wants. She doesn't wake up in the morning and cook for her. Like, nah, she don't want that. She goes to the next floor, right? There's only what am I? The fourth floor, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
only 5 floors. And she finds a guy who is wealthy. Oh my God, this dude has money. He has like status. He has everything, but he just does not do the things that she wants. So guess what? There's one more floor left. And she's like, man, you know what? Let me go to
Right.
that floor.
Person is there. He
And guess
gotta be.
what? It's
Mm-hmm.
empty as shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody there on that floor. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you, as a guy, you can never. It's like I had to learn this the hard way. Like, you would go out of your way to try, even if you genuinely mean it. So it's either one or the other, right? When a woman has these ideology of what a man should be, or not saying you can't have an ideology of what a man should be, but when you're so specific to where it's really blocking your opportunity from real guys. And say actual guy comes and tries to fulfill that. At the end of the day, he still ends up losing because it's never enough.
Mm. I
And I'm saying
damn.
that from experience. It's never enough.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like if you not to coach you, but it's sort of like if you as a woman, I feel like, or as anybody looking for somebody, you should never have specific criterias on what this person should be. You can have standards, right? You can have standards, you can have values, right? But when you're too picky, right, you're gonna end up as that 30 to 40 something year old lady
Never
asking or
married.
saying, I can't find no man.
Yeah. I feel that. I honestly feel that. But I also feel like when the better qualities outweigh the things that, you know, you feel like, oh, that's not, really what I'm looking for. I want something
Mm-hmm.
more. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the better quality should outweigh the less. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that is when, especially, and I hate to say it, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna be real. Everyone has heard this. Date the person that is in love with you more or who likes you more, because then you're gonna learn how to like that person. And that, I guess, that kind of coincides a
Hold
little
on.
bit with what you're
Pump a
saying.
bridge on that. Explain that to me. I didn't get that.
You've never heard that before?
Mm-mm.
So
Say it again.
basically, it's well, maybe it's not told to men, but it's definitely told to women to date the person who loves you more or who likes you more. Because when that person likes you more than you like them, you're gonna learn how to grow to love them, you know, as
Really? I mean,
opposed to.
does it
Mhm.
always result in that? Because sometimes, from my experience, women take advantage of that, or
Some
if it's
women,
a man take
some
advantage
women,
of
yes.
that.
I'm not gonna lie, some women do take advantage of that. Some people see that as, oh, he's weak, he's doing all these things for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
really, I don't like this. I'm gonna date this person on the side, and guess who they end up with?
Mm-hmm.
A person who don't give a damn about them. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the
Exactly.
day, I, oh God, I feel that's some true shit. You gotta date the person who loves you more than you love them. You have to, because then if you don't, if you and I'm not gonna say that, because listen, I'm a fair person. If you find a person and y'all love each other equally, that's fucking amazing. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't happen to find that person yet, that y'all love each other on the same page, and the person comes along that loves you more, then appreciate that person.
So what if
Because
you love them more?
oh, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because then
But
with
from that
men,
person, so that's like you telling that person that it ain't gonna work. So
but
okay, so
no, but
so
no, here's the
you
thing.
uh
What I mean is with men is different than women.
oh, you're
With
saying woman.
men, yeah. So from that
Okay.
perspective, with men, when a woman loves that man more, she gonna go to through the earth down to the last to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
She's gonna give that man the shirt off her back. She's gonna do so much,
All
and
right.
he's never ever gonna see that. He's
Mhm.
never gonna see that. You know why? Because that's not what he wants. He is thinking in his mind, she's like a placeholder. She's always gonna be there. She's always gonna be the
Mhm.
person I can fall back on if this person don't work for me. And I guess it's vice
Mhm.
versa for, the men. But I feel like women are more inclined to loving that person because women, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say we have more options because if you want to look at it, um, um, just people wise, there are more women on the planet or whatever. But if you really look at it, women
Mhm.
have more options than men do. And when it comes to that, I feel like
You mean like sexually?
yes. So if a woman comes along, she finds herself someone who loves her more and she has other options, she's going to weigh those options out and she's going to say, "Damn, this is the person I really want to be with, but he don't give a damn about me." And then I got somebody over here who loves the ground that I walk on. And I can, learn how to love him. And then she may tussle back and forth in her mind, but eventually she's gonna pick the person who loves her more. And if she don't, she's just an asshole. But
But I feel like, hold on, just before I lose my train of thoughts here for a second. But I
mhm,
feel like when a woman, like, based on what you just said, right? When a woman sees that, man, this guy is gonna, and this is just from my experience, right? This
mhm,
guy's gonna go to hell and back for me. I feel like before she commits to that guy for real, she knows she has that guy on the side as
mhm,
like, yo, okay, this, like push come to shove, you're the person who I'm gonna introduce to I feel like, based on what you just said, I've seen women who has guys who they know is gonna go to bat for them. And what they do is usually they keep that guy on a short leash, right?
mhm,
Because they want to date the scumbags first before they can truly appreciate that person,
mhm,
right? So, and this is usually the person who's standing by their side, being the best friend.
mhm. God.
No, for real. In reality, that's the person that you're talking about. It's usually the guy who is on the side, who is always there for you when you have those horrible breakups, when
Mhm,
you have those terrible nights, when you need a ride, right? When you're homeless, that's the guy, right?
yeah,
That's seeing you dated all these scumbags over the years. And that's when you start realizing that, damn, that dude loved me way more than I love him.
yeah,
Maybe he's the one I should go with. And that's when she gives herself to him. If and when she realizes that. You
yeah.
get what I'm saying? That's
I
how that
agree.
looks in reality.
I agree with that. That is definitely one way that can go for sure. And
That's
the men,
oftentimes how I've seen it go. I've
the
like not to cut you, but I've never, not gonna say never, right? But there's very few times I've seen a woman realize that a guy loves her way more than she loves him, and
and pick
not
him. Yeah.
right.
I think it could be an instance where, for example, she is dealing with both of them, and like you said, putting the one who loves her more on a short leash, and dealing with the other guy, or she keeps going back to him. So she'll jump
Right.
both back and forth,
And he takes her
keeping
back every
that one.
time.
Yeah, he takes her back every time, and then the one who ain't shit, I feel like that time where it's like, damn, he done dogged you out. He's done so much for you,
Yeah.
and you're just
Yeah.
heartbroken. And it's like, now that you dogged out, you gonna go ahead and go to the person over here and finally appreciate him.
Right.
So
That's
it's
that's from my experience what I've seen. Right.
yeah, it's definitely different scenarios. But let me tell you, both. not only men can be red flags, but women can too. There are a lot of women out here who aren't healed, who aren't just at a level of understanding, and they don't know how to appreciate a man or to appreciate something good when they have it or when they see it or when it comes to them. So just like how men can be red flags, women can definitely be red flags too. And I'm saying that just because I know that. Like there are a lot of trifling, there are a lot of like grimy females. I honestly feel like sometimes females can be even grimier than men, to be
Hmm.
honest with you. Um, obviously not all of us, but definitely there are um more than not, you know. So definitely feel like when it comes to that situation, it would be ideal to have someone who loves you the same. But if not, then if you're at a level of understanding and if you're at a level of you being healed, definitely choose the person who loves you more. And I'm just gonna bring up an example real quick. Sierra and Russell Wilson. Um the singer Sierra. She was engaged to Future. She was dating him all throughout her dating, history. It looks like she like rougher bad boys kind of thing, and she ended up dating Future, got pregnant, well, got engaged, got pregnant, um, or whichever way it went. I don't know because that's not me, but whatever way it went, he ended up cheating. She ended up leaving, and she made that song. I bet you start loving me when I find somebody else. And
Mhm.
I feel like with that situation, she went on to find her now husband, Russell. And I feel like he definitely loves her more. I feel like he loved her more than she initially loved him because, to be honest, if you look at her track record, he doesn't look like her type. He looks like
Mm.
something that she decided, let me try something new. Let me try something out of the box. Like, and a lot of
Mm.
people was calling him a square and someone who's just like, oh, he's a square dude. Like not a thug. Like he's not this, he's not that. But I feel like she was tired of dating men who were in the streets, who were
Mhm.
thugs or tougher. And I think that she was like, you know what? I got a kid now. I'm ready to try something different. I'm ready to start dating differently. And she did that.
Mhm.
And she found someone who loved her more. And I think she's grown to love him. They've gone on to have like what, 4 kids or 3 kids outside of the one she had from Future. Like that
Mhm.
right there is just like, and plus the man is a millionaire. He has money. He, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm sure he takes care of her. But at the end of the day, I think she tried something different because she was tired of being dogged out by men who weren't aligning with her. And yeah, that's just
I
that,
feel like
man.
that's maturity. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's
for
just
sure.
maturity.
For sure. For sure. For sure. So I'm gonna pose this question real quick. Um, so when it comes to dating, and I know we're talking about Sierra and dating and her like track record and things like that. Um, I feel like Russell was definitely a switch for her. She probably didn't have to plan dates. She probably didn't have to do anything. He probably really came up with all of the ideas and all of that. So when it comes to that, who do you feel should plan the dates and who should pay for them when you're in the dating phase?
See that's another that's a one of the other that's another reasons why I say I hate labels, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because it shouldn't the responsibility shouldn't fall on the woman or the man, right?
yeah.
Honestly, in my perspective, it shouldn't even be a thought that they should like she should be as willing to pay for it as willing as I am to pay for it, and we're fighting each
Mhm.
other over paying for it. You get what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I've done
Like
that before.
that's
Yeah,
ideal.
yeah.
That's ideal. Not like I feel like it's not ideal. Not it's not ideal to think, oh, and I think we've talked about this before. You're the guy, so you're supposed to, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Because we've talked about in another podcast the whole definition of supposed to, right? And
mhm,
how it haunts this world, right?
mhm. Yeah.
Any conversation, any debate I'm in, any argument I'm in where somebody is using the phrase supposed to, I don't care
Mhm.
what you're talking about, I'm on the opposite side of that.
You are funny. I feel that though. Honestly, I feel that because it's like, what do you mean I'm supposed to do it? Like, who came up with that? So I get it. And I agree with you as well. I definitely think when it comes to, especially when you're dating, you're getting to know a person, honestly, I also feel like it depends on, especially for the first date, I feel like who approached who. So if the man, I'm a traditional lady, I'm not never approaching the man, not happening. That's just how I was raised. But
Mm-hmm.
there are women out there who approach men, and I've also grown to learn that men like that. Men actually like
Mm-hmm.
when women approach them because then it's like, wow, I did find you attractive, but I didn't know how to approach you myself. So I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
you came
Mm-hmm.
to me. But back
Mm-hmm.
to what I was saying, um, if the woman approached the man, I think she should pay for it. She should take him out. And if the man approached the woman, I think he should pay for it, especially on the first date. But I've been in situations where the man approached me and he took me out on the first date, paid for everything, planned everything. And on the second date, I was like, "Let me take you out. Let me pay for it." And they were okay with it. And I've also been in situations where I'm like, "Well, let me pay this time. You've taken me out on 3 days or 4 days. Let me pay." And they're like, "No, like you don't need to pay for anything. Like I appreciate you for asking." And then just like that situation where you said they should be fighting to pay first, pay the tab first. I've been in that. Like me trying to go in my purse and hurry up and take the card out and they, you know, bam, I'm already here. Like I'm a very fair person when it comes to that, especially when you're dating because I don't ever want a person just because that's not the type of person that I am, but I don't want anyone to be like, oh, she just you know, here to use me for my money or for dates or, because a lot of women these days, they do be going on dates with men that they have no interest in. They going on dates just to get food, just to have dinner, just to, you know,
Red
rack up a bill.
flag. Red
Yeah,
flag.
that's definitely a red flag.
Jumping
But
on the bus. I'm
there's
taking the
women
first
out there
cab
like that.
home. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
like that like I feel like there's so much other more important things in the world than to be worried about who's going to pay, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like honestly, to adult person should never even make that a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it shouldn't even be a thing. Like honestly, like at the end of the day, um, you know, whether you are the one who, for me personally, how I feel is
Mhm.
whether you are the one who asked me out or I'm the one who asked you out, it should never be a conflict of interest. That means if say for example, like what you said, right? I came up to you and I asked you out, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then we go on a date and you're saying, okay, your philosophy is, and I'm not saying you as in you, I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, right? Your philosophy is, um, yeah, since you're the one who asked me out, then you have to pay. And then suppose, like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we're both adults, right? I'm interested in you. Obviously, you said yes, you're interested in me.
Mhm.
We're gonna go to a meal, and it's not gonna be expensive, and whatever the case may be, and it's just gonna be just us learning each other, or whatever. And then I'm thinking, um, you're probably gonna pay for yourself or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, like, suppose that was my my mentality, right? And your mentality was, hey, you're supposed to pay or whatever the case may be, right?
Mhm.
Based on your philosophy, then you're just kind of creating a potential fire and a potential negative experience. Like I feel like at the end of the day, there should not be any expectations on the first date, especially on the first date. There should be
Mhm.
no expectation. It should be a definite go with the flow thing, and
Mhm.
it should be not about the minor shit like who pays for what. It's because at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, we're both adults, right? So I
Mhm.
don't think people I think people are putting way too much emphasis on that part, right?
So,
That than it really needs to.
so then let me ask this. So when it comes to that, how much do you think should be spent on a first date? Because I'm gonna let you know, like I've been um honestly, to me it doesn't matter. Like a man can spend a little, like I don't want to say a little bit because that doesn't equate to anything. But I've been on a first date where we went for ice cream and we sat there until literally the ice cream shop closed talking. So it wasn't even about how much money he spent, it was the experience. And it was
Right.
the getting to know him and sitting there.
Right.
And then I've been on first dates where we've been to a extremely expensive restaurant or, other things. So, and he brought flowers and a whole bunch of, extra extra stuff because, that's how some men come. But then some other men are more like, let me see what else I can do. Let me see if this is gonna allow us to be more intimate and we can sit and actually talk and have those conversations to where we're in person and we're getting to know each other in person and I can see her body language. I can see how she's reacting to certain things I say. And I can look her in the eyes and see that's just me. I'm also an observer, so I like to see things like that myself. But
Right.
um definitely I think to me it doesn't matter. But do you feel it should be a cap on or how much do you think should be spent on a person?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Um, Man, there's a lot of layers to this. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible.
Hmm.
Um, from a guy who used to date strategically, and
Hmm.
that's a nice way to say I was a player.
I got you. You got them lined up. Got
Yeah, yeah. From that perspective, man, I'll tell you this. If a guy takes you on like a picnic type of date,
you. Hmm.
that dude loves you. That dude is interested in you.
Yeah.
You feel me? If
Yeah.
he takes you on a freaking high roller, freaking airplane or whatever type of date, that dude trying to get your coochie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to understand the difference. Like one is there's a lot of guys who
Putting more
it's
thought
all
into
about
it.
that first impression. They're trying to impress you, and then it's nothing. Not after that day, ain't nothing else comes good from it. No, and
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's all or every, right?
Hmm.
Of course, there's love at first sight, and sometimes guys go over and beyond for women who they care about, right? But generally, that doesn't happen on the first day. If a dude is doing all of that on the first day, he trying to get some coochie. It's
Yeah.
just like the concept of a dude fly you out. Don't think he just
Yeah.
flying you out just to
Exactly.
fly you out. You got to give up that pum pum. You see what I'm saying? Like it's
Mhm.
never just like you have to understand for guys, right? The ultimate goal is sex. Like guys, is like sex is the ultimate goal. It's just that
Here it is.
the difference is some guys care about that and only that, and some guys want more than just that, right?
Yeah.
And so, but sex is still the goal. Some guys will wait, and those are the guys who wants to get to know you. Those are the guys who's going to invite you to that picnic date, right? That
Yeah.
ice cream date. Those are the real dates. And for guys like, for me specifically, if a girl wants me to take her to an expensive restaurant on the first date, number one, I dislike materialistic girls. Some people might take that as some people might take that as me being cheap or whatever. I don't care what they look at it as, but I hate when a woman is materialistic. That just tells me that you are simple-minded.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're focused on the wrong things in life when you're materialistic. That's what that tells me. And so therefore, if you think I'm gonna profess my love to you by on the very first day, remember you've lived an entire lifetime. I know nothing about you, but I'm yet
Mm-hmm.
still I'm here giving you everything, and I'm giving you the best of the best. Like, why would I do that to a stranger?
Not only that, but then not only that, but I think it then puts into her mind, oh, he gave me this grand gesture on the first date. She then goes to expect that on every single date after.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Which is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, if a guy truly wants you to gain his riches, he's not gonna show it on the first day
Mhm.
because he wants to make sure that you're worth his riches. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, he wants to make sure that you're actually worth it. He's not gonna show you all of his best cards. He's not gonna throw out his best cards on the first day to catch you. No, if he really truly cares about being with you, he wants to make sure that underneath you're not worried about his riches. That even
Yeah.
if he loses all his riches, you will still
You'll
be there
still be
for him.
there. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm
for sure.
saying? So if there's dudes out here, listen, we're in 2024, right? This is the generation that's out here right now, right? Right now we're talking about grown folks, but let's talk about young people right now for a second. There's dudes out here who spend their whole checks on Jordans, on Balenciaga, and
Mm,
everything. Don't have a dime in their pocket.
mm,
Don't have $20 to put in their cars.
mm,
But just because they take you on a date and you see this chain on his wrist or the whatever he's wearing, he presents himself as this lavish shit. Most women, young women, their pussies get wet for that shit.
mhm.
And they got them because that's what they worried about. That's what's being advertised, right? That's what it seems like the goal now. That I want a dude who's like living that lifestyle, the
That
rapper
has drip.
image.
So
Right.
I get that. So I think that's kind of in comparison. I ain't gonna get too far off because that's a whole nother conversation. But I guess for men, their thing that women look for is their clothing, the chains, what you got on. Like that shows me what you have. That shows me if you wear something. That shows me like, oh girl, he got money. And then whereas from the man, most young guys nowadays, oh, she got a fat ass. She
Hmm.
got a nice body. Like that's what's attractive to most men, or especially when they're just trying to fuck. They're just trying to, whatever. Um, but then as in, like you said, a man who is spending his last to look good, to be presentable, but then he don't got a pot to piss in. So it's
Right.
kind of like, damn, this crazy. We getting too deep now.
Yeah. See, those are the dudes who are really broke. The ones who feel like they have to showcase all that shit. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Because
Yep.
that's what they're trying to advertise. That's the impression they're trying to give you. You know, at the end of the day, and sad to say, a lot of women fall for it, right?
Yeah.
And it works. It actually works.
Yeah.
And women would have sex only to realize that, damn, this dude have no money, right?
Oh,
And you get,
what do you
and
mean?
that's
I'm
why.
getting dollars when
What
I
was
leave.
what was that?
No, no, no. I was saying in her mind, she probably like, well, what you mean? I'm not getting $1,000 after I leave, or two
Right,
thousand after I leave? Like what?
right, right. Like they feel like they got the bag.
Mhm.
Right? When as they say in nowadays terminology, they fumbled the bag, right?
Mhm.
Like so at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm not saying you can't look like as a woman you can't love how a guy dress, right? But don't make it about how expensive shit is. As long as
Mhm.
he puts himself together, that should
Mhm.
be enough. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And a woman
Yeah.
don't gotta have fat ass for her to be the one. Like
Mhm.
nowadays, I'm gonna be honest with you. Nowadays, I like me a little booty now. There's too much fat ass right now.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, once upon a time it was rare, and that's why guys like to see it because no one really had it. But
Mhm.
now everywhere you go, you see these BBLs and women really, man, women actually feel like guys love BBLs, and all a guy
You know why,
want
though?
with the
Go ahead. Go
BBL
ahead.
is to smack it from the back and one
Hmm.
time and that's it.
Hmm. I'm not gonna get into that because that's a different conversation. We're gonna have the
It is.
BBL. We're gonna have that on the app. Listen, because I have so much to say about it. Um,
Yeah,
to be honest, but I do want to
yeah.
ask you, like, when it comes to, because you did say, um, when a person, when a female sees the man drip, like that's what she fall for. She, end up giving her shit up, and because she thinks she, came up. So, at what point, and or how long after dating do you think sex should come up, or not come up? But at what point should you start fucking when you date? Same.
So I guess the only question before I answer that, the only question I have for you is the intention to have a long lasting relationship? Is that what you mean? That's the preface? Like if I'm looking for a long lasting relationship, how long should it
But
be?
but okay, let's say back from the beginning, right? We say we dating somebody, and you get to know the person, and like you said, you don't like labels, but while you're dating, you end up fucking this person because a lot of people, again, human nature, they're attracted to the person, so it ends up happening. So how
Mhm.
long after you're going on dates with them, you're meeting up with them, even if they're just stopping by your job and bringing you lunch and bringing you food, and hey, I just wanted to see you before I went in for the rest of the night. Um, at what point
Damn.
in dating do you start cooking?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be probably some guys are gonna find this controversial, but like I really don't. I think for guys, from a guy perspective, I really don't think it's about um, really about the time. And I know that might sound crazy at first, but let me just elaborate for a second. Um, Meaning that I think it's more so about how easy you give it up.
Mm.
Than is it 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 day or 2 day, right? Well, actually, if it's 1 day, it will all if it's the first time we met, it depends on the person's mentality, but most guys will look at that as damn, if you give it to me so quickly, then what about other dudes? You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
usually, what a girl would say is, "Oh, I don't always do this for everybody."
This is the first time.
Right? This
First
is
time
this is the
doing
first time I've ever done this, and
it.
you like step back,
You.
huh?
She'd be like, I must really like you. Like, oh my.
Exactly. And you step back and be like, yeah, right, right. So I guess when you talk about like giving it up like right away the first, second, or third day, then that's questionable. I guess that's when time would matter for a guy. But overall, it really comes down to I think the more in replacement of time, I would say it's really how easy you give it up, right?
Oh.
Like
So it's up to the woman
what
then.
I had to do, huh?
So it's up to the woman then. Well, it's always up to the woman. But
Right.
then you gotta. Mhm.
If I'm trying to have a long lasting relationship for you, right? And I said this on one of the previous podcasts before, right? Guy guys value women and men, they value different things in each other.
Mhm.
For a woman, she values somebody who can provide in every way, shape, and form, somebody who can profess their love to them, and
Mhm.
somebody who can protect them, right?
Mhm.
But for men, they value, and I use the word purity, not in the full word, the full sense
Yeah.
of, oh, you're pure and you're a virgin, right? And you wear all white. No, but purity in terms of you're not easily accessed,
Mhm.
right? So if I'm trying to date you to really invest and commit to you, I need to make sure, I need to be sure that you're not easily accessed, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say it's more so about how easy you give it up. Because if you give it up to me easy, then I can't help but shake the fact that you might give it up to somebody else that, right?
Yeah.
And easy doesn't necessarily correlate with time, right? It could still be a week later, right? But
Mm.
because I did something, you gave it up, or whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But definitely time, I would say time is a factor. If it's the first, second, or third date and you give it up, then a guy would say, maybe you are so and quote unquote easy. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I guess to summarize that, what I'm trying to say is for guys, mostly about you not being easy.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's not really a time thing.
I feel that, and I've seen like people get on social media and say, "Oh, I had sex with him on the first night, and we ended up together. You know, we 5 years, 6, 7 years in." And honestly, even the song that's out right now with Lotto, Big Mama, she like gave it up to him on the first date, or let him hit it on the first date, or whatever, and they still together. What 4 3 4 years later, and I think some men, or I think some women feel like, oh, my shit is so good, and I'm gonna give it up to him so he can see that. And once he do see that, he's gonna fall in love. Not even knowing, just like you said, it takes multiple times for a man to realize, okay, this is
Exactly.
something that exactly it
Exactly.
doesn't click right away. But then
Exactly. It's
also
not just about, right, right. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point. Right.
there are also some women who feel like, well, shit, I don't know if I'm gonna like him if the sex is bad. I don't wanna be serious with him if the sex is bad. Like there are some women like that, and they'll get that out of the way to be like, okay, well, we had good sex. Now we can figure the relationship out. So it's different types, and those aren't the only two types. But definitely I've been seeing that those two mostly on social media.
Well,
Um
I would
mhm,
say about the woman part that you just said, right? Like, I get that point, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to give it up on the first day, right? You can't tell me your coochie's itching so much that you can. I'm not saying, look, I'm not trying to be a saint here and say never give it up on the first date, right? And that those relationships will never work, right? I'm talking more in a general perspective, like on average, right? Um, the reality is by you giving it up on the first date, it kind of, especially if the guy is really truly into you, it really like gives a negative perspective on things, right? And some woman like Steve Harvey. I love to quote Steve Harvey because he talks so much real shit, right? I think he said women should wait 3 months, right? And I'm not saying like I would never put a time on it like that, but I from that what I get from that is, let him wait, right? If you truly love him, let him wait. You can
mhm,
wait too. 3 months compared to a lifetime is nothing. You get
yeah,
what I'm saying? You can't tell me your coochie's itching so much that you can't wait like a couple weeks or a few days or a few dates and then give it up. I mean,
yeah,
and guess what? In between, remember I call that the butterfly phase. So
yeah,
there's fun shit you can do. Like, oh my God, that's the funnest, like to me, that's the most fun time in a relationship because like you can tease me and I would love it. Like I would
mhm,
love you not giving me sex, but freaking doing shit that turns me on and I'm having blue
yeah,
balls for days.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like that's to me, if I truly like you, that's satisfactory enough, right? Because I know, man, once I get in there, I'm tearing it up, right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
feel
it's like it's not always like you can. My point is you can wait. And so I feel like women, you don't have to necessarily have to find that out how sexually compatible he is on the first date, right? Or the
Yeah.
second date or the third date. Like you can wait. It says they have a saying that says good things come to those who wait, and I truly believe in,
Mhm.
right? You don't have to try to get that out. You can tease him, he can tease you. That turn on, that build up, that's what it's about.
Yeah. I definitely wanna say I completely agree with that. I don't even play. I don't Me personally, I don't play when it comes to that. Like, I think that's time to get to know you, and I think it's time to, I feel like the man, in a sense, respects you more, and I from personal experience, they fall in love with you more
Hell
because then
yeah.
they see like, wait, I'm trying, like, because they'll try, men will try, they'll
Right.
see how easy that, okay, if I try, she gonna give it up. If I try it again, is she gonna give it up? So
Right.
I think that the more you don't and the more you make them wait, men have so much more respect, and then they end up falling in love with you more, and that's
They
just
love
me.
you way more.
And
You're right.
I like to tell people, like, especially because I have younger sisters, I'm always like, don't fuck that man. Like, wait, please, like, and I've told them this forever. Make him wait. Please make him wait, because then he's gonna see, like, I guess you were saying the value, but he's gonna see how much, one, you respect yourself, and he's gonna also see, like, well, damn, she didn't give it up. It could be in his mind like, well, is she fucking somebody else? That's an insecurity. But he's also gonna see the fact that you value yourself, and, well, maybe she really want to get to know me. Maybe she want to know who I am, and she takes consideration on who she allows in her body. Um, but I also want to talk about, like, the people that, when we say giving it up on the first date, I feel like I've heard also people saying this is our first date, but we've been talking on the phone for 6 months. We've known each other for a year. So we've known each other all this time, and now we finally we're getting to a first date, and all these feelings and all these things have been, you know, like, manifested. And now, once I'm getting to that first date, because I feel like I know you so well, I'm gonna fuck you. Like, so that's
I
one
think
thing
that
that
makes sense.
that's one thing that I've been hearing too. Um, and in that sense, I would
I get
say,
that.
you get that?
Yeah, and this is why. Because remember, right? It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like communication, right? Like
Hmm.
y the fact that I'm not even around you and we've talked for so long, we've
Hmm.
learned a lot about each other.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, i- in a sense, we've been dating that entire time. That's how
Yeah,
I kind of see it. You
yeah,
get what I'm saying? Which means that you could have been having sex with other people. I could have been having sex with other people, right? But we're still interested in each other because we've learned so much about each other, right? So when we
yeah,
finally get to meet, I totally get it. Like that build up is there.
yeah, yeah. That's true. So, how long after you're dating a person do you feel like you should tell your friends and your family, or do you feel like you're introducing them to your friends and your family, or if you have kids, at what point are you, introducing the kids to them?
Yeah, I think kids is a whole different category, right?
So let's just
Some
let's pause on that question. Let's go to the, at what point do you tell your friends and family, and then you introduce your family? So kids is different. So let's keep that one on the back burner because I feel
yeah,
the same way. Yeah.
yeah. I think you know, like I said, I don't, it's kind of like when I approach all these questions, like I don't like to think there's a definite time, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like days and months, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it more so depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you guys feel you're at a level where you're looking to become like fiance right? Which means you're ready to take your commitment to a different level.
What
Because
the
remember,
fuck?
when we're talking about, look, when we're talking about dating, right? It's just a verbal agreement. That's really all it is. It's a verbal agreement. No, not dating, sorry, relationship. So definitely, I don't think. So let me just kind of backtrack a little bit. Dating wise, based on your definition earlier,
Mm-hmm,
that you gave when we just started the podcast,
mm-hmm,
um, when you say, "Oh, we're just dating," there's no commitment, we're just feeling each other out. I
mm-hmm,
definitely don't think at that point you should do that. And I feel like if you do that during that time, it's a red flag
mm-hmm,
because then you're jumping the gun. You're kind of moving too fast, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, Now when you're in a relationship, right? I can see why most people feel like that's the time to sort of introduce their significant other or the person they're with to their family. But I don't necessarily think that's the best time either because, like I said before, at that point, you saying you're in a relationship, really and truly, all that is, it's a verbal agreement. There's really, and you're agreeing verbally with each other that you're gonna be committed to each other, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, but you haven't really taken the next step as to where you're promising to be committed to each other, which is marriage, right?
Gotcha.
So I feel like when you talk about, I mean, with friends, it's different. I think it's okay to introduce somebody who you're in a quote unquote relationship to your friends during the relationship phase, right?
Mm-hmm,
Um, but when you're talking about parents and like close family, I think the best time to do that is when you are getting ready to make that person a husband or a wife.
mm-hmm,
Um, because otherwise, what's going to happen? You're going to find yourself um, introducing those people to a lot of people, right? And then
mm-hmm.
eventually, you're gonna. When I say a lot of people, I mean you're gonna come
I
to
know
them
what you mean.
with different
I
people,
know.
right? And
Mm-hmm,
eventually, you're going to be the person who cries wolf. And they're not going to
mm-hmm,
take that person serious. They're not going to respect that person. But if they've
mm-hmm.
seen that you've only come with like one or two people, they know, oh my God, this you must be really into this person, and they're going to show them all the respect and loyalty
Yeah,
that you expect them to show them.
I feel that. And I like your perspective. I think I've done it to the point of I'm dating someone. Obviously, I never introduce anyone to my family because when I'm dating you, I'm getting to know you personally. And that has nothing to do with my family. But when I've gotten in relationships, um, I introduce them. Like, this is the person who I'm in a relationship with. This is my man.
What
This is,
family though? Like to your mom and dad?
yes, to my mom and dad. And
Oh.
I wanna explain the reason. I like your perspective and I understand your perspective, but my reason for introducing them to my family was because when I date, I've always dated to marry. And I've made that completely clear with whomever I was dating and then became into a relationship with. So I'm in a relationship, I'm dating to marry, and I'm letting that person know we're on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, then I'm not introducing you to my family. So when I'm dating you and then we get in a relationship, I'm in this relationship with the intent to end up with this person, to marry this person, and I'm going to commit to this person. So me being in a relationship, taking that a step further, is committing to that person and letting this person know this is what this means to me. And when marriage comes, that's the next step. But I personally, that's how I've been doing it. I've been doing it
Hmm.
on the sense of we're dating. I'm getting to know you. Okay, now we're in a relationship. Now I see that you're serious enough for me to be in a relationship with. This is who I want to be with. We're in a relationship to get married. This is with the intent to marry, or I should say. And I've introduced that person, and that's just me. Now, I haven't been in a lot of relationships. I've been in relationships where there were long relationships. So I haven't introduced that many people to my family, obviously. Um, but I
But
will
let me ask you
say,
this.
Hmm.
How early, just a question, you hold that train of thought that you had just now. How early in a relationship, right, would you introduce someone to, like, because like I said, someone to your, like, your parents, right? Because some people, they're in a relationship, which AKA, based on our definition here, we're talking saying we're committed, right? Or
Hmm.
we're promising to stay committed at that point
Hmm.
verbally. Um,
Hmm.
how early in a relationship do you introduce those people to your parents? Because, like, you could make that agreement 1 month in.
Hmm.
So
It's
if you and somebody have, if you met somebody 1 month ago
hmm
and you went on a few dates, and by 2 weeks later you're saying
in a
you're in a
relationship.
relationship,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Do you introduce them to your parents?
Absolutely not. And I don't think I've ever dated someone for that short. And that is a scenario, but I've never dated someone that short amount of time. And let me tell you this. When I met the father of my kids, I dated him, I got to know him, and for myself. And my dad was so like he knew who he was because we worked at the same place and we lived literally right across the street from where we worked. And every time my dad would come in, they knew my dad. Everyone knew my dad because he's a likable, he's a, people person. And they would always tell him like, "Oh, that's the person your daughter is dating. Like that's the guy, like da da da." And he wanted to meet him so bad. And I always would tell him no, because I'm dating him. I'm getting to know him. I will bring him to you when I feel that he's ready, I'm ready, and know that this is a person that I'm gonna be in a relationship with. And my dad hated that. Like he didn't understand it, he didn't respect it, he just wanted to meet him. And I said, I'm not ready. I will let you meet him when I feel that time is best. Let me, you know, fill him out. Let me do that. And I'm not gonna lie, that caused so many issues down the years and all that. It caused so much just like negative, such a negative relationship between them and him and I. It was just insane. But I never date someone for a small amount of time and be like, yeah, I'm ready for you to meet my parents. I don't do that.
No, but you're
I'm
using the word date, right? And
right.
I'm using the
So
word relationship, right?
relationship, right. So and that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to dating, I'm gonna date you for, let's say we're dating for 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months we're dating, right? Then
So
we
hold on.
realize.
Let me ask you this. Oh, sorry, not to
Mhm.
cut you. So you're dating somebody for 3 to 6 months with knowing that this person might be sexually active with other people,
Yeah.
and that's fine with you.
As long as and see that's another point that I was gonna make too. Um, Definitely feel like you should date multiple people, but I also feel like you should not be sexual with multiple people. And I feel like when it comes to you having sex with people that you're dating, you should let them know. Let them know that, hey, I'm dating you, but I'm having sex with someone else. Or I'm dating you and we're having sex and excuse me, I
But
feel like
isn't
mhm,
not to cut you, but isn't that the whole definition of how you perceive dating initially? Because you were saying that when you date somebody, there is no promise of commitment. There
mhm,
is no I owe you this, I owe you that. So there is no
mhm,
expectation. The only expectation is I'm filling you out and I
mhm,
respect your boundaries or whatever the case may be, but I'm not going to ask too much questions. I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to expect too much, right?
mhm,
I'm literally just feeling you out until we come together and say, hey, we like each other. Let's take this to another level, right? So
mhm,
with that being said, if you are still dating somebody after so long, right? Because I consider dating for 6 months a very long time. If you're
mhm,
still in that phase, like, can you really expect, even if you don't know, like, you can't really expect the person to necessarily tell you that they're being sexually active. Yeah, it'd be awesome if they were that honest with you, so you could know, right? But even if they do tell you that, even if they are sexually active and then say, "Hey, I'm sexually active," because we haven't committed to anything yet, then can you really blame them, right? Because at the end of the day, you haven't committed to anything yet. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I get that. And I think men are never, and I'm very literal with my words. And I always tell people that I'm a very literal person because I am. Um, but I don't feel that men are ever upfront or honest when they're dating about people they're sleeping with. I think
Really?
women, I do.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
I feel like
you're right.
women are more susceptible to be like, yeah, I'm dating you, but I'm having sex with somebody else. Not all the time, but I'm gonna use myself as an example. I'm gonna let you know. Like I'm gonna, hey, I'm and while I'm letting you know, that man is gonna be like, oh, you can stop. You can stop having sex with whoever you having sex with because I'm intending to be in a relationship with you. I want your
Hmm,
focus on me.
hmm.
And once you let me know that, then I'm gonna consider that. Like, so I
Then
see
it's the
where you
relationship, right?
like I
Then it's the
see where
relationship.
but if I'm telling you, hey, I'm having sex over here, but I'm dating you too, I'm not having sex with you, but I have someone who I'm having sex with, but I'm dating you, and you like, okay, that's fine. I know where we going. I know where we at.
Right,
And maybe it may take 3 months for him to realize, damn, I'm really feeling you while we dating. I don't want you to have sex with that person no more. I don't want
right,
that. I wanna take this to the next step. And I'm not saying I
right.
date for 3 to 6 months. What I'm
Right.
just saying is with the possibility of dating for that
Mm-hmm.
long, right? Because let's say, for example, you guys have different jobs or different times that you guys work. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
you work the morning shift, you work a night shift,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard for y'all to go on dates and see each other and be around each other. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
hard, y'all talk, but y'all still haven't really got to know each other because you're not physically around each
Right,
other, right?
right.
So it may take longer to date. It may take a little bit longer. It may take longer to
Yeah,
be in that presence. And then now the
right.
relationship is coming. So I want to say, just reverting back, how long do I feel like um you should introduce a person to your parents while I'm in a relationship? Let's say I'm dating a person for 3 months. After those 3 months, we decide to be in a relationship. We're in a relationship for 3 months. That's 6 months right there. I want to say around the eighth or ninth month, I would be, introducing them to my family. A year, I feel like that's okay too. I wouldn't do it at the 6 month mark. I wouldn't even do it at the 3 month mark. I wouldn't do it as soon as we got into that relationship if we're dating for 3 months. And then as soon as the 3 months are up, I'm in a relationship. I'm not gonna introduce you right away. I'm not. Because I
Mm-hmm.
get it, we've just committed to this, relationship, but I still want to make sure that yeah, we said we're not dating anymore. We said that we're exclusively dating each other, but
Mm-hmm.
I also want to be in this relationship. Like sometimes it's okay to be selfish in your relationship. It's okay to have that person to yourself until you're ready to share that person. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say I would say the least is about 8 months. That's what I would say. But
Eight months.
that's a combination of dating and in a relationship. If you've been in the relationship for what is that? Like 4 to 5 months or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a year is fine too. A year is fine. And that also depends on how y'all were dating. Green flags for me in dating is consistency. How consistent are you when we're dating? Are you
Right.
showing up? Are you doing all the things you said you were going to do? Are you making sure we talk every day? Are you not going long periods of time without not texting me? Or are you checking up on me throughout the day? And mind you, vice versa. Don't get it twisted. That's not only the man's um, role, but it's the woman's too, because men want to feel appreciated. Men want to feel like, okay, I'm doing all these things to her, but she's not doing it back. She's only looking for me to call her. She's only looking for me to text her. She's only looking for me to send her flowers. It's okay for you to show up to that man's job and bring him oh, it's okay for you to call him and say, hey, did you eat? It's okay for you to do all the things that he's showing you, you know? So yeah, I think it
Yeah.
definitely depends on how consistent you
Okay.
guys are.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right. Which is why, and that's kind of why I said I wouldn't put a timeline on it because it depends on those factors, right? Like consistency. Because, like you said, it could be a long distance scenario where you are not long distance, but like, you just because of life you haven't really gotten to spend that much time with the person and just years pass
Hmm.
and you're not asking any questions, you're just hoping for the best, right? Meaning that you're not saying I hope you're not having sex with anybody or I hope you haven't did any of that, but you're just still kind of yeah, like entertaining each other, to put it
Yeah,
like that, right? And
yeah,
then maybe times and situation time change, and you start seeing this person now, and you guys have a relationship, and then you introduce them, right? So it really depends on those factors. But you asked about kids, right?
yes,
Now
I
I
was gonna
think
go back to that. Hmm.
yes, I think when it comes to kids, it's a whole different. It's an entire different level because like um it typically means that this person is not the mother or father of your child. Um, and you know, that could be that could be great, but it can also be dangerous, right? I think and let me just kind of refer back to the question. The question is like, when do you introduce your kids to the person
Hmm.
that you're
Hmm.
dating, right? Man,
On a
that could be a
relationship.
deal breaker. Oh my gosh. Like
Yeah.
if you do it too early, it could be a deal breaker, right? Um,
Hmm.
and if you do it too late, it could be a deal breaker,
Yeah.
right? So you sort of have to find like the right
Really.
time.
Yeah.
But I think you want to definitely avoid doing it too early and avoid doing it too late. You want to kind of find the right middle. And I think the right middle is like again, when you feel like, okay, you're past the relationship phase and this person with 100%, um, 100% certainty, is going to be a part of your life. I think
Yeah.
once you can say that to yourself, that this person, and once they also know that this person is going to be part of my life and vice versa, I think
Hmm.
that's where the kids come in.
Yeah. I want to say that
Now,
I've
now
always
they can know you have kids, right? That's
right.
different. But
Don't
to
know that.
meet them, yeah,
Yeah. I want to say I've always said outside of their dad, with dating that I would not introduce anyone to my kids until I was engaged. And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
yeah, but mind you, I would get feedback like, that doesn't make sense because what if you get engaged to that person and it doesn't work and your kids don't like them or they don't like your kids and it's a
That's
shit.
a better situation.
Yeah,
Like to me, that's better than introducing them to every boyfriend you come across,
yeah, yeah. And
right?
I personally, I completely agree with you, and I still feel that way to be honest. And I think that when it comes to you getting engaged, that's another point. That's like another step. Like for example, one step dating, and then the second step the relationship, the next step engagement, and then the next step is marriage. I feel like when you're engaged, that's a whole nother process because then that's when you start to think about, okay, let's move in together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's
Right.
or even if you're not there yet, even if you're waiting to get married to move in together. But let's say, for example, you have kids and you want to make sure that your kids are compatible with this person. You're not gonna move them in right away, but you will once you guys get engaged. You will, let them meet them, and then after a while, let's say maybe 6 to 8 months, you're like, okay, maybe let's integrate this. Maybe let's see, how it would be with you being here more, let's see if we can move in together and see how that works and see how they become a really just like a permanent fixture, you know, or someone who's like an addition. Not I don't know, like not really like a stepdad or stepmom type thing or whatever, because you know sometimes depending on the kid and their age, they don't really like that or like the term, but definitely like a plus or a bonus, you know. So um, I think
So
you should
hold
wait.
on. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I don't mean to go off in a different conversation right here. But when it comes to what you just said just now, like sometimes kids don't like the term depending on the age. What do you mean?
Yeah, so for some kids, depending on the age, they don't like the term stepmom and stepdad because they feel like it's too formal. Like you know how people who are dating and they don't like titles? Some kids
Mm-hmm.
don't like titles either. So you have to see that as a for example, let's say the
Okay.
mom
I see.
has been with that person, you know, for so long and they're like, well, here's your stepdad. Go ask your stepdad. And that child is like, he's not my stepdad. Like that's who, you know, that's John or that's Bob, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
Mr. whatever, Mr. Man, whatever, you know, they call him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some
I
kids
got
don't like that because then they feel like that person is coming in and taking over. You're trying to be my dad, you
you. Right.
know? I don't
They
need
don't.
that. Like
The
I
relationship
have
is
one.
not there. Right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. I got you. Yeah, they don't feel like their the relationship with them and that person is of that status. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So I definitely feel like some kids don't like, you know, a new person coming in and automatically being that
Yeah,
authoritarian.
given that title, right?
Yeah,
I
for sure.
understand. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it depends on the age. That's why some people don't like dating people with kids, depending on how old they are. um,
Yeah, yeah,
but it
yeah,
takes a person, especially if you don't have kids. It definitely takes a person with a good heart, a person with an understanding mind, a person who you know is also loving and caring and like okay, um, I'm gonna give them time. I'm gonna
yeah,
try to build a
exactly,
relationship little
exactly.
by little. You know, I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna let them
Right,
come to me, you know, but I'm also
exactly.
gonna try. I'm not gonna not try and show them that I don't care at all.
Right.
But you know, yeah, it takes
Yep,
that.
you definitely hit that one on the nail. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, like, just to summarize that last bit, right? I don't think there is a specific um time. I do think too early is a factor, too late is a factor as to when to introduce, right? Especially to people who are close to you, like parents and
Mm-hmm.
children. There's definitely a too early or too late factor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can necessarily put like days and months on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to just the situation or the context of what you guys have been through, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's ultimately my perspective on that.